Yo, what's going on, guys? J.Yumeko here, and today we're back with some more Cinderella phenomenon. I think last episode we learned that our mother was the bigwig witch, right? So that's why people didn't like her, and that's why people also didn't like us, because we were supposed to be the next bearer of the Tenebrarum, I believe it was. But yeah, without further ado, let's continue from where we left off. Rod and I leave the mansion in silence. Here in the secret tunnels we are suffocated under even more silence, but still neither of us makes an effort to speak. I am still stuck inside my own mind, sifting through my troubled thoughts. I cannot reconcile the fact that the wicked witch who led the witches during the war was my mother. I did not even realize how many people hated my mother until after she had passed and they spoke about how cruel a queen she was. I never understood why, since she has always been the perfect person in my eyes. I never connected my mother with the Tenebrarum bearer, but what Parfait and Delora just told me makes sense. Was I living a lie all those years? A lie that my mother crafted so that I remained cold and bitter even after she passed? And Delora and Parfait say I am meant to inherit the power of the Tenebrarum from my mother. I do not want that burden. I almost bump into Rod's back when he suddenly stops walking. He turns around and looks at me with a serious expression. I cannot help but feel judged beneath the weight of that gaze. If you're going to tell me that you never wanted me as your partner because my mother was a witch, then... I wasn't going to say that. What? I won't lie. The first time I saw you, I thought you were like your mother. You were cold, harsh, and selfish. I never wanted to have anything to do with you. That was why I was so against this partnership, but... You've changed. Rod's expression softens. As you and Em have grown closer, I have seen that you're not like your mother. She speaks fondly of you, and I can tell she really enjoys your company. That's why, even if I do not have plans to break my curse, I will still do what I can to help you break yours. It's the least I can do as your partner. I stare at Rod in shock. This is the first time he's ever been so nice to me. Why are you staring at me like that? I'm only doing this because you're important to my sister. Rod turns away, his face beet red. Liar! Rod reaches up to pinch Seppi's face. Ow! Compliment him or thank him. Again, we're gonna save just because I don't know. We're gonna thank him, I guess? Or maybe compliment. Let's try complimenting him. I just want to see, whether that little thing pops up or not. Just because I do want to make sure I'm going down the right path. This is a little bit cheap. I understand. I'm cheating a little bit. But. Alright, I guess we go thank you then. That seems to have gotten the better reaction. Thank you. Rod turns away, his cheeks dusted pink. It's no big deal. I'm only doing this because I see how dedicated you are to breaking your curse. Because I want to get my old life back. And now that they've told me about my mother, I want to prove that I am nothing like her. Anyway, I still want to help you break your curse, Rod. Why do you refuse to break it? Rod stares down at his feet, expression melancholy. Because I cannot. Rod stops and shakes his head. He says nothing else, and I do not probe him anymore, especially not after seeing the distant look on his face. We walk through the corridor and back to our rooms after we say our goodbyes. I wonder what Rod was going to say. Alright, a young Yumeko now. Mother, look! Eleanor got me this gift. Eleanor? She's my maid and my friend. Princesses do not make friends with their servants. But she's really nice. She even taught me how to braid my hair like... Those servants are only nice to you because you're the princess. They only pretend to be your friends so that they can have power over you. But Eleanor would never... What reason do I have to lie to you? When have I ever lied to you, little one? You have never lied to me. That is correct. Tomorrow Tomorrow I will remedy the situation. I will hire a new maid. You are not to befriend this one, no matter what she says.
But Mother...
Are you arguing with me, Yumeko?
No, I'm sorry, Mother.
She a bitch, okay. It has been days since Parfait and Delora revealed my mother's true identity and the inevitable responsibility I am to have on my shoulders once I turn 18. I have been trying to ask the king about Mother, but he's even busier these days than he was before, and it is impossible to find a single moment in the day to speak with him. The fact that I'm a maid makes it even harder to garner his attention. When I'm not on break, I continue to do my duties serving Emmeline. Right now I am accompanying her as she practices her walk and posture. Ophelia has been helping her, pointing out any mistakes she finds. I know this is hard, dear. I had to go through this training as well before I married the king. Emmeline allows her shoulders to slouch as she lets out an exasperated sigh.
I always hated these lessons. I had thought my posture was fine. This is supposed to refine it, and yet all these lessons I've been doing is hurting my back.
Oh, Emmeline, you'll get the hang of this. You just need to keep practicing.
But Mother, I've had this same lesson before. Why must I do it again?
Because you slouch when you walk, and that is unbecoming of a princess. Emmeline scowls at her mother, and Ophelia's frown falls away as she bursts into laughter.
Mother, you're not helping.
The atmosphere in the room is far from heavy as Emmeline and her mother continue to conduct their lessons. It is almost the exact opposite of the lessons I had with Mother. Mother always got angry when I made even the smallest mistakes. I know this is hard, but as the crown princess, all eyes will be on you during the ball. The people there will judge any small mistakes you make, which is why you need to be on top form on that night.
I know.
Ophelia claps her hands. Alright, now, to start again. Emmeline groans before heading to the far wall and straightening her back. She takes a deep breath, puts a book on her head and begins to walk again. The book falls from her head on her third step. She sighs, moves back, and starts the process again. Neither of us break Emmeline's concentration by speaking. We stand idly by and watch as she tries time and time again. I am surprised when Ophelia leans towards me and begins to whisper. Yumeko, I'd been meaning to say this before, but I am grateful that you're friends with my daughter. I look at Ophelia's smiling face with surprise. I never agreed to be her friend. You are not against the princess making friends with her servants. Why would I be? I actually wish more of the staff here wouldn't be so uptight, since I would love for Emmeline to be on good terms with the people who serve her. Besides, social status is never an obstacle to friendship. Ophelia shifts her gaze back to Emmeline, who is now picking up the book that has once again fallen from her head. No matter your occupation or status, a friend will always be a friend. You've given Emmeline the courage she needs to face many challenges she has ahead of her. In a way, you're like family, since you're always around us. Like family. Come what may, both family and friends are there for you, and will accept you for who you are. Even before I was cursed, Emmeline was always trying to be my friend. That means she knew all along who my mother was and still wanted to be my friend. The thought makes me remember what Parfait told me about Mother threatening to kill Ophelia if the king did not marry her. I turn to Ophelia, curious. Your Majesty, may I ask what you know about the late Queen's rule? Ophelia looks at me quizzically, so I quickly add a thoughtless lie. I was not an Angelian, and I have only heard stories. I just thought it was so hard to believe, what with how peaceful things are in the palace right now. The kingdom was a dark place back then. People lived in fear under her rule. The king had no real power over Angel. The witches had free reign over the kingdom. They cast the fairy tale curse incessantly and on a whim. We barely left our houses in fear of becoming cursed. Mother's reign was that terrible.
The king still blames himself for the darkness that befell Angier during that time. This is why he works day in and out to stabilize the country and to put smiles on everyone's faces. I remember long ago how he told me one of the reasons he would always continue to work hard for this kingdom was because he wanted to make a brighter tomorrow for his children. Ophelia looks confused for a few moments, then brushes off the awkwardness with a small chuckle. He helps the family in his own way. Is it possible that he said that with me in mind, and Ophelia's slip-up? But then, maybe he was always referring to Emmeline and Rod. The kingdom's come a long way since then, hasn't it? There are still witches here and there, but most of them don't bother others. I pray that the peace we are experiencing right now will last. I see. Thank you for telling me. It is a bit of a dreary topic, but I'm happy to have helped. If you need anything else, please don't hesitate to call on me. I know it may not be traditional protocol for a queen, but then I do not consider myself a typical queen. I try my best to listen to everyone here regardless of what their title or name may be. I can only nod at her in response. Princess or maid, the way Ophelia has treated me has never changed. She's always treated me with kindness, regardless of who I am. I never saw it before because I was always so distant from everyone, but now I see that Ophelia treats everyone here with kindness, regardless of social status. I was always frustrated by the servants when they compared Ophelia to Mother, saying she was superior, but now, I think I understand why they would make such comparisons. Emmeline dismisses me after my lessons, and I begin to head immediately back to my room. I have just turned a corner when I notice Sir Alcaster standing before me, scowling.
Watch where you're going, child.
I quickly avert my gaze, not wanting a confrontation. He always looks at me so strangely, almost like he can see into my mind, or is trying to. My apologies, Sir Alcaster. Sir Alcaster nods his head at me stiffly before walking off.
Your pardon, Princess.
Nanny? I turn to stare after him, but he's already turned the corner. My blood becomes cold. Was that just a slip of the tongue? But how else could he know that I'm the princess? Is it possible that he is cursed? No, somehow that just doesn't seem right. But if he does not have the fairy tale curse, could he be the witch that Delora warned me about? What reason would he have for unveiling his identity then, unless he just wanted to intimidate me further? It occurs to me that Fritz still remembers who I am. Did he tell his father about me? Now I'm even more confused about whom I should trust.
Yumeko?
I jump when I hear Rod call me. His expression slowly creases with something that looks like worry.
You're pale. Did something happen?
Would he believe me if I told him?
Obviously I'm gonna tell him. Like, come on. I'm not gonna not tell him, right?
Sir Alcaster knows I'm the princess. Do you think he's the witch Delora was talking about? I whisper the words to him, and he responds by raising his eyebrows, looking surprised.
What makes you say that? This isn't just because of the standoffish way he acts, is it?
You don't believe me?
Rod sighs. I never said that I didn't. It's just that we can't just blindly accuse anyone without any real proof.
Rod stares at me for a few moments, then closes his eyes, his eyebrows slightly furrowed with thought.
So Fitzgerald also remembers who you are.
I do not want to be suspicious of Fritz, but I don't think blindly trusting him would be right either, given these circumstances.
Well, we're just not going to mention that he directly addressed me as princess. Like, that's not a coincidence, right? You need to stay vigilant around him. If anything happens, you can come to talk to me about it.
You're worried about me?
Rod averts his gaze from me. Of course I am.
Wow, you're actually being honest.
What?
Rod glares at Toby before pinching his cheek.
Anyway, I must leave now. I have a dance to practice for.
Dance? But you already know how to dance. What do you have left to practice? Rod does not answer and only walks away. I decide to follow after him.
Why did you follow me?
I shrug. I wanted to see you practice. To be honest, I wanted to see him dance. I already know that Emmeline is very clumsy when it comes to dancing, but outside of the one practice with Emmeline, I have never seen Rod dance. Emmeline always gloats on his behalf, but I have yet to witness Rod's supposed talent with my own eyes. Our dance together was so short, I barely had any time to judge him.
I do not practice with an audience.
Why?
It is my preference.
Rod is easily embarrassed.
Rod groans and pinches one of Semi's cheeks, glowering.
Sorry.
Rod reluctantly releases the bunny with a sigh. I notice you've been talking more lately, Sebi.
Oh, that's because Rod here has been saying things that contradict what he thinks or feels.
Sebi makes a sound of defeat as Rod once again pinches one of his cheeks. Rod stares at me with wide eyes, and I stare back, beginning to panic. What's wrong?
You smiled again.
I put a hand to my mouth, flushing. I was smiling again. I never noticed.
Oh, can I go back to that? Hey, look at that, boys. This is a dub. Can I screenshot this? Okay, I screenshotted something. Okay, I've also tabbed out. Let me go to full screen again. Here we go. Okay. Let me go back. Boom.
It was a pretty smile, Princess. Right, Rod?
Rod quickly turns away, cheeks slightly pink.
I need to practice now, so I would appreciate you leaving.
He did not even command me to leave. What a surprise. Emmeline said you were a really good dancer. I want to see it with my own eyes.
Why? So you can judge me?
I'm not here to judge you.
Rodo, I'm not here to judge you, Rod. I'm simply here to watch you. Why else would you be so keen on watching me?
I am mostly curious.
Curious?
I wanted to know how good you really are.
Then yes, you are judging me.
I hold out my hand and he stares, looking taken aback. I should not be scolded for only being curious. Why not just one little dance to prove how talented you are? Rod stares at me for a few minutes before reluctantly taking my hand.
Fine. You'd better not step on my feet.
Rod starts leading the dance. He glides us into the imaginary rhythm of a waltz. Even without music, I am able to count the steps in my head as I follow his lead. This is different from that short dance we showed Emmeline. Rod's movements are graceful, his touch gentle as he leads me to an underarm twirl. When I come to face him once again, I notice the gentle way he stares at me. The usual hardness of his expression is gone, melted into something relaxed. I find myself staring back at him, looking into his eyes. Perhaps Rod does have some gentleness to him. Our gaze does not break as he twirls me.
You have beautiful eyes.
Oh my god. Rod's eyes widen as soon as mine do. He abruptly lets go of my hands and steps back.
No, we were so close.
I can only stare at him, my face warm.
It wasn't me this time. That was more than just a thought, I swear.
Rod says nothing, though his cheeks continue to darken with embarrassment. Oh my. Rod and I turn to look at Emmeline, who's hovering by the door.
Excuse me.
Rod quickly walks through the doorway and out into the hallway, leaving Emmeline and I alone in the room.
Wait, hold up. Wait, I just realized something. Oh, Jesus Christ, I realized this so late. If we break our curse, we're technically in love with our stepbrother. Oh no, what have I done? What have I done? Oh, Jesus, I can't believe that only now just occurred to me. Oh, too late to go back now, I suppose.
What just happened? That was a wonderful dance, Yumeko. Were you watching? I only just saw the last few minutes, but you know, the two of you really did look like a couple. It was sweet. A couple? Oh, you're blushing. I put a hand on my cheek and turned away with a scowl. I am not. Besides, whatever just happened was embarrassing. Do you like Rod? I stare at her. I do not. Also, you're forgetting that I'm a maid who could not be with the prince even if I wanted to. He's grumpy and cold. And even though we're not blood related, he's still my stepbrother. If only Emmeline realized how crazy her words were in the light of the truth.
Exactly, yeah.
Emmeline suddenly looks starry-eyed as he giggles at me. Love knows no boundaries, dear Yumeko. Besides, he seems to like you. Your brother hates me. Rod can be a contradiction sometimes. Sometimes he says the opposite of what he feels. It's only when you get to know him as well as I do that you realise what his truths are. I cannot help but think of Sebi, who always speaks Rod's thoughts aloud when they're contradictory. He was always so mean to Viorica when we were young. He would always bully her for being a crybaby, even though he cried far more often. But then I realised that he treated her more special than he did anyone else. Back then, I knew that he liked her. I thought that one day the two of them might even go to love each other, but... Emmeline lets out a long sigh as she directs her attention out the window. His attitude towards her has changed ever since he was cursed. Then they grew even more distant when Viorica found a lover. Is that the reason why you two have been going to the toy shop with Prince Rod? Because you want to bring them back together? Emmeline nods. The three of us were best friends. The three musketeers. It's not the same without Rod. I keep on asking him what's wrong, but he refuses to tell me. He's always been stubborn, but it's not like him to keep secrets. It's really frustrating because I have no idea what I should do to help him. I thought he was just being stubborn with me, but apparently no amount of prodding, even from his own family, would make him budge. Why is he being so difficult? I hope you do not mind me asking, but what do you know about his curse? Emmeline stares at me for a few moments before nodding. You're my friend, Yumeko, and I know that I can confide in you. I know that sometimes I'm not trusting enough, but I think Emmeline is still far too trusting. We only know that he has the mermaid's curse. I've read the story so many times, hoping that I can figure out some way to break his curse. I think back and realise that I had actually read the beginning of The Little Mermaid a long time ago, but I did not have the chance to finish it because I was caught by Mother. The Little Mermaid is about a mermaid who trades her voice for legs, right? Yes, she does so she can be with her prince. Rod's voice was taken away, but I'm sure that he was given something in exchange. I've heard that the curses are derived from the original tales, but that they're twisted in some way to fit the format of a curse. I nod slowly, thoughtfully. I have a strong feeling that Rod's curse is related to Viorica, but I cannot draw the connection. But still, Viorica might be the key to understanding his curse. If Rod will not divulge anything, the next best chance we have of understanding his curse might be going through Viorica.
Alrighty. Chapter 7. Be careful what you wish for. Alrighty. A very ominous one right there. We're going to save right there, and we're going to go back to the main menu. Alright. So, definitely an interesting episode. We're learning a lot more about Rod's curse. Very clearly, we're having a thing for each other. But I'm curious as to how this is going to end, right? Because Rod is our fucking stepbrother, man. So, like, how are you going to justify these two getting together? Unless you're just going to pull the good old, well, we're not related by blood, so it don't matter thing. You know? I mean, I guess I wouldn't have a problem with it. It is just a visual novel after all, but, you know, a little bit weird. But yeah, that's going to be it for this time. If you guys enjoyed, make sure to leave a like on the video and tell me in the comment section below what you would like to see me play next. If you enjoyed this series or any other videos or series on my channel, then I highly recommend that you hit the subscribe button and turn on post notifications so you will be notified when a new one of the videos comes out. Anyways, that's it from me, and I'll see you in the next one.